Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back. I'm JBrancatella. Man, there has been a little bit of a crazy few days. Some people are up in arms about Jake's recent video or recent comments. We got Ali Dawah now making a public rebuking of me. So we got a lot to go into in this live stream. I figured, you know what? I was just going to let it all kind of die out, but accusations have been thrown my way, false claims being made, misrepresentation. So there's a lot of things that really need to be addressed. Now, just gonna bullet point, because I just bullet pointed some of these things. One, I'm going to address the Hamza's Den situation, me going onto his live stream. How did that happen? I'm going to show you what actually occurred because people are confused about it. Supposedly, I questioned whether or not he was a Muslim. Obviously, addressing the video where I ranked the du'at and how, the sort of backlash that I've been receiving in regards to that. My comments about Ahmed, Deedat, and Zakir, Naik. The most important thing, which I'm going to get to in just a second, Ali's recent video, and I'm going to show his dishonesty. Libyano or Orthodox Muslim and Deen, and my publicly disassociating from them. Libyano losing to God logic. I made that claim after I was being pressed, and also Muslim Lantern losing to Jay Dyer. People were so upset about that. I'm going to also address claims that I'm jealous or that I'm losing my mind, all these kind of things. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing very well, actually, health-wise. I am due to get another treatment for my disease in about a month from now. I'm feeling good. The disease is steady. I'm not suffering from any mental issues or any problems because of the medicine that I take. So I'm doing very well as far as that goes, alhamdulillah. Where I'm not doing well is with the hypocrisy and the utter disregard for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for his messenger, for the Deen, for being principled. And this is where I'm going to start out with. If people really want to know what my problem is, and trust me, I understand why most of the audience watching or the followers of all these other so-called du'at, why they don't understand it, why they disagree with me, why they think I'm just a crazy, angry guy who has isolated himself. I understand it. I get it. And it all surrounds, and here we go. Daniel is going to make a clip out of this probably. It all surrounds Aqidah. It all surrounds the correct beliefs that Muslims are supposed to have in order to be considered rightly guided, and that we are supposed to protect those beliefs. We are supposed to defend them. We are supposed to criticize those who overstep those boundaries. And at times, when necessary, we are supposed to warn against specific individuals who have neglected or outright attacked the Aqidah. And some people say, well, Jake, why do you care about this? Shouldn't we just be focusing on the kuffar? Shouldn't we all just be uniting because of what's happening in Muslim lands, what's happening in Palestine and Kashmir and Sudan and Yemen? We need unity. We need unity. So discuss these issues privately. Don't deal with them publicly, and just everybody needs to unify. That's correct. We do need to unify, but we need to unify on the correct principles of the Quran wa Sunnah, and not under Jake's understanding, under the understanding of the early scholars, the early Salaf and ulama, the imams of the Salaf. Not what Ali Dawah says, not what Orthodox Muslim says, not what Mohammed Hijab says, not what JBrancatella says, unless it can be backed up by and substantiated with evidence. And let me explain really what's going on here. Let me explain really why I am upset. Why am I upset with the dawah scene? Because the du'at, we're not scholars, but there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ explaining that the scholars, the ulama, are the ones who are following in the footsteps of the anbiya, of the prophets, right? And by extension, the du'at have a certain level of responsibility that the common Muslims don't have. We have a responsibility to accurately represent our faith, to do it or attempt to do it as best we can with good character, right? And to criticize other people's religions in a fair manner, in a just manner, even if we disagree with them, no matter how much we disagree with them, right? So we have such a big responsibility, and I think that the du'at, with all due respect, including myself, I have no problem saying this, we are failing. We are absolutely failing the ummah. We are not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're focused on entertainment. We're focused on sensationalism. We're focused on promoting ourselves at the expense of others. We're focused on many times bad character traits and bad behavior at the expense of getting popular or getting clips or doing this or doing that. I'm not saying that I'm exempt from that at all. And I can even go over some examples from my own self. But it's gotten to a certain point that the du'at are no longer accountable to anyone. And the people that they do have in their circles that they think they're accountable to are people who are misguiding them, who are not actually guiding them in the right way to go. Okay. So, let's connect this to the video, right? Actually, before I do this, I want to address something which is really common that's happening in the comment section and on social media. They're saying, Brother Jake, you're just doing this for clout. You're trying to get popular or famous off of other people. That's why you're attacking these different du'at and shuyukh and blah, blah, blah. Let me explain something to you guys. I made a sarcastic comment after being accused of this, saying that, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this all for popularity. But people are so slow that they couldn't even understand that I was actually being sarcastic. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So let me explain this to you guys. Do you know that my recent video ranking the du'at S tier to F tier, do you know that that is by far my most disliked video I've ever created in 5 or so years that I've been making content? Probably the most amount of negative comments or feedback that I've received from the video. Many of the people who I mentioned, who I thought I was lightly criticizing at certain points, all of their fans and their followers are upset at me. They're unsubscribing. They don't want to watch my videos because of my takes and what I was saying. So, okay, you could say, oh, but Brother Jake, you got like, I don't know, whatever it is, 20 or 30,000 views, whatever it is now. So you were just looking for the short thing. Well, guys, even if that were true, how stupid would I have to be? Like, how dumb do you guys actually think that I am, right? That I would attack or I would criticize most of the popular du'at, get their audiences upset, and so that they don't want to watch my content in the long run, and I lose followers and lose viewers. Does this make any sense? Is that how someone who is chasing clout and popularity would do it? Come on, guys. Smarten up. I honestly cannot believe you are that stupid to believe that I'm actually criticizing others to get popularity, especially those who are more popular than me. I'm not at all. Whether you think I'm right or wrong for doing so, that's not the reason why I'm doing it. And if that were the reason, then I'm pretty stupid and you probably should unsubscribe anyway, because the opposite effect is what happens. And that connects to all of these du'at. They typically don't want to criticize others publicly, especially for aqidah differences or differences in belief, and fundamentals. Or if they do it in a very unprincipled way. They attack the people who attack them personally, but they're not doing it for the sake of the deen. They're doing it for the sake of their own ego. So many times people will criticize others, but it's only after they've been attacked. It's not on a principled manner of the Quran and Sunnah. It's not. It's not at all. And all of these guys pretty much are compromised. Pretty much all of them are compromised, and I'll give examples of that. So what is my big problem? My big problem is that it's important to focus on the kuffar, no doubt about it. And I also recognize that everyone is going to have their own specialties and interests. But at the very least, it's fundamental that a caller to Islam makes clear his stance on Aqidah. Is he an Athari, Salafi, Ahl al-Hadith? And if so, what does he mean by that? Is he an Ash'ari or Maturidi? Or is he a Mu'tazili? Is he Shi'i? Is he Sunni? Is he part of the Mutafalsifa? All of these points are relevant because if you are calling to Islam, what Islam are you calling to? Are you calling to the Islam of Ibn Sina? Are you calling to the Islam of Al-Ghazali? Are you calling to the Islam of the Quran wa Sunnah? What are you calling to? Are you just here just to poke holes at Christians? Or are you here to invite people to Islam? And when you're inviting people to Islam, what are you inviting to them? You say, oh, but brother, just like Daniel Haqiqatjou says, and he's not going to be the main focus of this. We all believe in the 6 pillars of Iman. We all believe in Allah. We all believe in his messengers and his books and the angels and Qadr. And we all believe in all of the 6 pillars of Iman, right? And we all believe in the 5 pillars that we're supposed to follow. So, and I'm just summarizing these points. I'm not naming everything because we want to save time. But the point is, on each one of these points, okay, how is it that we can we just believe whatever we want about Allah? When we say that the 6 pillars of Iman and the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam, can we say when we call to Allah, it's just in a general way we can say whatever we want about him? We don't have to affirm that he has hikmah and wisdom for his actions. We don't have to affirm that he has a reason, no matter how hard it is to understand what his reasons are for his actions, that he has a reasons for doing whatever he's doing. What is it? When you say that you're calling to the Anbiya, what are you calling to? Are you calling to the understanding of the prophets that they're ma'soom in the sense that they cannot commit even minor sins or minor mistakes? In the case of some of the radical Shia, that they don't even use the bathroom or sleep. So we need to understand that when you call towards Islam, that many times in your da'wah and speaking to other people of other faiths or even Muslims, when you get questions asked to you, you have to go more specific. But the problem is that the more specific you get in your beliefs, the more and more you are going to alienate yourself from different audiences. So when I say that I don't believe that istighatha is permissible, that's going to alienate the Brelvis and the Sufis. When I say that when I say maybe the Deobandis will be on par with that, to say, yeah, we agree with that. It's haram. Many of them will agree with that. But then when I say, well, I believe that istighatha or making dua or praying to, as Daniel was allowing for, the dead or anyone other than Allah and asking for Allah only what he can give, that I believe that the shirk akbar, this is one of the most dangerous things to do and believe in, and I want to warn against it. And because I'm aware of this happening in the Muslim world, and even Christians and other religions who may be doing that now. So when they come into Islam, they have to know that they can't do that. They can't do that anymore. But when you do that, when you say that this is shirk akbar, now that alienates you from the Brelvis and the Deobandis and many of the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. And they have family members and friends who do this, or maybe they do it at their own masjid. So when you do that now you alienate your audience from the Deobandis and the Barelvis. They don't want to watch you anymore because you're accusing them of committing shirk and kufr. Who would want to watch you? I mean, unless they, took the advice and really looked at the evidences and said, okay, Jake, you got a point. But then when you go even further, maybe some people could bypass that because maybe they agree with you and say, okay, Jake, you got a point. We shouldn't pray to anyone other than Allah. Then I say, well, I believe in the Quran and Sunnah upon the apparent meaning, upon its apparent understanding, which is explained by the Prophet ﷺ in the first 3 generations, right? They're the best at knowing this and understanding it and explaining it to us. Now, when I go into those details and I say, well, the Ash'aris believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not act for reasons. For anything that he does, he has no reason whatsoever for why he acts. And this means that he doesn't have hikmah, he doesn't have wisdom. Even the Maturidis accused them of this and said that it actually results in kufr. Now, when I say that, wow, all the Ash'aris are people who think they are. They either say, Jake, you're misrepresenting or disagree, but nevertheless, whether they think I'm dishonest about it or just ignorant, now they don't want to watch me. Now they don't want to support my work. Even when even my work against atheists and Christians and Jews and Zionists and Hindus, Buddhists, Hadith rejectors, Qadianis, whatever they are. No, we don't want to watch it anymore because you went against one of the things that we really believe in and that we think you're being too extreme here. So the more and more you get specific on your beliefs and warn against certain beliefs that Muslims and actions that Muslims partake in, your audience shrinks and gets smaller and smaller. This is the reality. And it's not just Brother Jake saying this. I know this. People are saying, Jake, you're nobody. You don't have much following. These guys have millions of subscribers or hundreds of thousands. People don't know. People have no idea. I'm stupid, right? I can accept that. You guys think I'm stupid, no problem. But I'm not that stupid, right? I see the playbook. I know how, if you want to get popular and famous, what you have to do. What topics should you focus on? What topics should you avoid? You should preach unity, trying to bring everyone together, not causing division, not criticizing others. That's the way to do it. Do some gimmicky content once in a while, splice it in there, or maybe do that most of the time and splice in the ilm or knowledge other times. Do a lot of debates, do a lot of sensational things to gain popularity. This is the way to do it, guys. The way to do it is not for Jake to be doing live streams or videos by himself 99% of the time and being clear about his aqidah and his beliefs and criticizing people harshly when it needs to be done. This is not the way to gain popularity. You want to look and learn how to gain popularity? Look at the popular channels. To Ali Dawah, Mohammed Hijab, Smile to Jannah, Uthman ibn Farouk, what's his name? Muhammad Ali, Muslim Lantern, even Daniel Haqiqatjou, even though I'm not putting him in the same category as these people. Pretty much all of the popular channels, and get this, guys, it's not just in Islam. If you look at the most popular channels in Christian apologetics, David Wood, Inspiring Philosophy, Apus, who else? Sam Shamoon, Avery God Logic, all of these kind of different people, and many more. Are these the ones that are really academic focused? The ones who really read and focus on text and explaining people and, disseminating knowledge to Christians and non-Christians alike? Or these people who are Islamophobes, who are sensationalists, who do gimmicky stuff, who don't actually warn against other, they're not people who really strongly warn against the Catholics and the Protestants, or those who are Orthodox against the Catholics, right? That's one thing I can give Jay Dyer credit for. He actually does that. And that's why he's not as popular as these guys, even though he's better than them. And that's the reality, in the sense he's more knowledgeable and more honest with his own faith and position. So this is the reality with the Christian sphere. Then we can go to the atheists. The most erudite atheists, even though we think their belief is ridiculous, are those who are the most popular, the ones who are the most principled on what they believe in. They call out others in their own community. They are knowledgeable in the sense that they read sources that agree with them and don't agree with them, and they're fair and try to represent others. No, not at all. So if you want to become popular, it's not the Jake way. It's not what I'm doing. Okay. And I've realized this a long time ago. So the reason why pretty much all of these du'at are compromised is they know exactly what I'm saying. They know everything I'm saying is true. And that's why they won't call out, even though many of them claim to be Athari or Salafi or Ahl al-Hadith. It's only a name, or only in their closet, or only when they think about it when they're by themselves. It's not on the internet. It's not in the very public manner. They don't do this. They don't want to do it. And they know it's because it will hurt their popularity, their fame, and their money by extension, their income. Now, I'm going to say things. Now, people say, but Brother Jake, how can you get into their heart and understand this? You're looking into their heart. You don't know, Brother Jake. You can't know this. Why are you making these accusations? Now, I'm not making these accusations out of nowhere. We know from the hadith, right, in Bukhari, that what are we judged by? What are we judged by? We're judged by our intentions. And how do we know what the intentions are? We know what the intentions are based upon the apparent, what is apparently presented to us. Does that mean we have this kind of belief like the Murji'ah, where you can't know what people believe at all because you can't see what's in their heart? No, you know, and you judge based on the apparent of their actions, their statements, and many times what they explicitly tell you. So I'm not making accusations based upon no evidence whatsoever. Mohammed Hijab is a poster boy. Perfect example of this. I've told him directly in private messenger. I've also said this publicly on YouTube previously. I've already disassociated from Mohammed Hijab and To Ali Dawah, all these guys, a long time ago now. Now, Mohammed Hijab said to me, he said, Brother Jake, you, and I don't deserve half the praise, but I'm just telling you what he said. Clearly. So now you can't say that Brother Jake is just imputing things onto Mohammed Hijab. They know the playbook. He practically wrote it. He said, Brother Jake, you are a smart guy. You know a lot about Christianity. You have charisma. You have a good personality. You're a good speaker, whatever, all the other stuff he was, praising me and glazing me for. But he said, you know what, brother? There's a big difference between me and you. I said, what is it? Okay. He said, you keep talking about the Ash'aris. You keep making videos about them. You keep criticizing them. And if you do that, you're going to alienate your audience, or a big portion of the possible audience. They're not going to want to watch you for your other good content on Christianity, atheism, hadith rejectors, etc. And he said, so they're not going to want to follow you. And that's just a reality. He said, I'm not saying you're wrong about the things you're saying, but if you keep talking about these things, or even do it in the way that you are, you're never going to gain the popularity that I, Mohammed Hijab, have. That's directly what he told me. Do you know what I said to him? And he can make a response to this if he wants and call me a liar. We've had this conversation 2 or 3 times. He keeps warning me about the same thing. Brother Jake, you got to stop. You're never going to gain my popularity. So what does that tell you? For him, it's more about the popularity, the fame, and the money than it is the haqq and what you should do or what you shouldn't do. But later on, they'll justify it and say, no, what we should or shouldn't do is based upon this, but it's not, they're never principled. They're never principled. They're never principled. Now, this person says, I don't know what content actually saying, hijab is right to be fair. Right about what? Right about what? Is he right that, yeah, more people won't listen to you? Right? More people won't listen to you if you talk about those things? He's right about that, 100%. You think I'm that stupid? The people who are more popular than me told me this. I know that. Does that make it right to not talk about it? Because you know that if you do, you're going to upset some people's feelings and some people might not watch you for your other good content? No, that doesn't make it right, because you still have an obligation to make clear the Islam that you're inviting people to and what people should be taking from you. And you should be criticizing so-called Muslims who are doing things many times that are either guilty of kufr or shirk or deviance, because we're not just here to invite people to Islam in general, non-Muslims. We're also here to keep the Muslims Muslim and to warn people from the hadith of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. What is it? That all of these different sects, Islamic sects, are going to be in the hellfire except for one. And you're saying, oh, Jake, you think you're part of that same sect? I pray to Allah that he makes me part of that, and to everybody watching. But in order to be a part of that, you need to study and understand what the beliefs, the correct beliefs are that to be a Muslim. When you say you believe in Allah, what do you believe about him? Are you allowed to believe whatever you want about him? When you say that you believe in the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, can you believe whatever you want about him? Can you believe that he didn't come with his sunnah, that he only came with the Quran? Can you believe that he's a prophet, but he's not the final prophet, that Mirza Ghulam Ahmed Qadiani came after him? Can you believe that? Is that compatible with Islam? No. You say, oh, but these are extreme examples. We can keep going and give more concrete examples. But the point is, I know the playbook. I was warned by Mohammed Hijab, brother, you're never going to gain my popularity. You know what I told him? I said, I know I'm not going to gain your popularity. I'm not in this, inshallah. I'm not in this for the popularity. I'm in it for the haqq. I'm in it for the truth. Now, am I perfect? Have I made mistakes? Certainly. Certainly. And I'm not acting higher than mighty than people in terms of my behavior, that I'm better than everyone. I'm just telling you what I'm trying to do. I'm being very honest with you guys. I'm telling you what I am trying to do. Am I perfect out of it? Do I make mistakes? Sure, I make a lot of mistakes. But these people, they're not even trying to do it. They don't even have the same principles. They think that I'm crazy, that we shouldn't be doing this. We should be trying to attract the biggest audience that we can while we forsake our Islamic principles, while we forsake our akhlaq, while we forsake many of these things for the sake of gaining popularity, fame, and money. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to do that. Now, does that mean I never have fallen short? Of course I've fallen short. And I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would purify my intentions. I'm not saying I'm higher and mightier than everybody, but I'm telling you, show me any of these guys who will actually say what I just did, that will come out and say, yes, Jake, we want to preach to the non-Muslims. We also want to preach to the Muslims, but we also want to make clear some potential pitfalls for Muslims. So sometimes we need to talk about certain groups and be critical of them, and even sometimes specific individuals. Where are they doing this? They're not doing it. They're not doing it. So that's my biggest problem with the Dawah scene. They're more, now that's emblematic. That Muhammad Hijab thing, that's the same thing with Hamza from Hamza's Den, which I'm going to show later. And when people think that I was accusing him of being a kafir, I wasn't. It was specifically to prove the point that I just said. And pretty much all of these guys are doing that, the same thing. Hold on, let me just look here. You said, this is my playbook. Kent, honestly, brother, unsubscribe if you're subscribed. Don't watch my content because you're too foolish to actually gain anything from me. I'm not, you are not my target audience, because I just explained to you how this works and how if I'm seeking clout, this is the opposite of what I would want to do. You said I'm right about AB. most, not Libiano Deen and MA. I don't know who AB is. So anyway, let's take a look at this now. How can I show this? Let me see. I want to bring up the thing that really got everybody worked up and upset. Let me show you guys this. Let me show you guys what got people so upset. And exposed a big thing, a big cultish mentality. Okay, here we go. Let's make them big. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. So this was my list. Now, I'm being very honest with you. If I'm going to get off of having the correct aqidah and beliefs, being principled, being honest with Islamic sources and Christian or sources, yeah, because it was mainly focused on Christian sources, all of that together, I will go through it right now based purely on that. Shabir Ali is still an F. I should have put him at F. Muslim Cowboy, F. Warner, F. Smile to Jannah, F. Central Dawah, to be honest, I haven't watched enough of his content to say. Some people tell me he is actually on the correct aqidah and he does speak about it, but I don't know. So I'm going to just leave him. I don't know because I haven't watched enough of your content, brother, to be honest with you. Zakir Naik, I can honestly say at least he has spoken about in public and sometimes in depth the right aqidah, or for the most part, the right aqidah, and has warned against innovations and various groups. But he's not perfect. So for that, I'll probably give him a B. Okay. Hamza's then F. Uthman ibn Farouk, I used to think he was good, but now with his behavior, his lack of ability to call out those he's previously associated with, for him to not be clear and calling to the Quran and Sunnah in the correct aqidah as much anymore, seems like he has thrown a lot of that behind his backside, astaghfirullah, because he wanted to gain more popularity and he knew that he wanted to be more sort of ecumenical. And when I say ikhwani, guys, this is what I mean by an ikhwani. An ikhwani is someone who prioritizes the rights of humans over the rights of Allah. Or it's somebody who prioritizes other things over the aqidah and doesn't want to warn against deviators and deviant groups. That's somebody who does this. So, and pretty much all of these guys are ikhwanis, okay, in that sense. Some of them are outright just not even claiming to be Athari Salafi, okay? So Uthman, he's going to be at a D, okay? That's where he's at now. He, inshallah, he'll come back. Brother Ramzi, I haven't seen him speak about any of this stuff. He's young, so he's got time. I don't want to put him too far down, but he's going to be a D2. Hijab is F. Ali Dawah is F. The only reason Ali Dawah could be even slightly bumped up or considered to be a D is because he's recently at least had the guts to sign the document against Daniel Haqiqatjou. Sabil Ahmed, to be fair, I don't know enough about him. Same thing as Central Dawah. Can't even grade him. Ijaz, F. He's a Maturidi. Shamsi, I would say good. He's probably one of the best in terms of this. Okay. Do I agree with him on everything and all of his positions? No. But I would say he's very close. Okay. So I'm going to put Shamsi in terms of the aqidah and warning against others when needed. Although, he doesn't always have the best way of doing it, as I don't. I'm going to say he's at an A. Okay. Muslim Lantern, I view him somewhere similar to Uthman ibn Farouk. I thought that was the case, that he was on the Quran wa Sunnah and on the correct aqidah and having the correct manhaj, but he's not. He's become a full-blown ikhwani. He doesn't want to warn against specific people. He knows his audience. He knows people who are probably even funding him. So he's going to be at the D. He's going to be at a D. He's not as bad as the F, but he's going to be D. Abdullah al-Andalusi, he's F. I'm going to save Ahmed Deedat for a second. Brother Hashim, I mean, he has defended things in the past, so he's not that outright bad, but they don't really have any content focusing at all on deviances or anything like that. I'm not saying that you have to, because not everybody's an expert on it. I'm not a complete expert either. But just do something to show your disassociation. But they don't. There is no genuine concept of having the correct understanding of al-wala wal-bara, number one, and also encouraging good and warning against evil, right? This is where the dawah scene is failing so poorly. I would say, Brother Hashim and the brothers from EF Dawah and Brother Mansour, I'm going to say they're all going to be in the C to D range, honestly. Brother Paul, you're at an F, brother. You're at an F because you are constantly hosting this fanboy of Ibn Arabi. And Ibn Arabi was a mushrik. Imam al-Dhahabi said that if his book, Fusus al-Hikam, if it does not have, and I'm paraphrasing, if it does not have kufr in it, then kufr doesn't exist. This is what Imam al-Dhahabi said about him. And Paul hosts everyone and their mother and all different people and has no problem about it whatsoever. Okay. Even though he got exposed for his passwords got leaked and his password for his social media accounts were actually Ibn Taymiyyah. So he's a fanboy, I know this, of Ibn Taymiyyah. But he hosts people and has somebody, the head of his blogging theology academy is a proponent and promoter of the Aqidah of Ibn Arabi, who was a mushrik. F. Brother Sabur, Hamza. Brother Sabur and Hamza, I'm going to put them at the D level. They're pretty much the same. They're Ikhwanis, even though if they don't know much about this. They don't talk about the Aqidah. They don't talk about this kind of things at all. This guy, as far as I know, unless he's changed, he's going to be an F because he is on the Sufi tip, right? So this shows that I was just being lenient how I graded these things. And then when it comes to Libiano and Deen, I used to think that they were on the correct Aqidah and Manhaj, but they've disappointed me recently, and I'll go more into that. But I still have hope for them because they're young. So I'm going to put them in the C range. But really, they really disappointed me. Okay. And then who else do we have left? Brother Bassam Zawadi and Fareed. I'm going to keep them where they are because I think they're good from that respect. And let's see, myself, I'll keep myself there at B. And Ahmed Deedat, to be honest with you, I don't really know enough about him, but from the things that I have seen, he was not on the correct Aqidah. So he's probably going to go down to a D or F. I don't really know enough about him, but from the things that I have seen, very concerning. He was not on the correct Aqidah. Not at all. So that's what it is. If you want to go based upon this and what I'm most concerned with and what I most value, that's where everybody's going to be. And 90+% either they are outright deviants, don't even claim to uphold the Quran and Sunnah and believe in Salafi or Athari Aqidah, like Shabir Ali or Dr. Ali Atai or Abdullah al-Andalusi or Ahmed Deedat. Who else? I think those are the most. Ijaz. I don't know enough about Sabil Ahmed. So all of, Hamza. Those are the exceptions to the rule. Everybody else here pretty much claims to be following the correct Aqidah and Manhaj. And almost all of them fail miserably. So that's where I'm at with that. Now, people, now they're going to get even more upset, and they're going to say, oh, Brother Jake, why are you doing this? I believe it's the correct thing to do. Let me look at my bullet points here. Okay, now with the video, it's very interesting. There is what it exposed in the Dawah scene is there an extreme cultish following that these du'at, and I'm not blaming them 100%, I think there's partial blame there. They have facilitated an environment in which their followers are so cultish, they can't see beyond anything Brother Jake is saying right now or in previous videos. They can't take any criticism. They're so sensitive, they interpret every criticism as an attack on the person as an individual and as a full-blown assault that is wrong, should never be done in public. Even if you say, oh, I think this brother is a nice brother, mashallah, tabarakallah, he actually has good akhlaq, but I don't think his arguments are the greatest. Oh, Brother Jake, you're jealous, you're a hater, why are you doing this? You shouldn't do this public. Okay, people can disagree with my ranking and my list, fine. I didn't think people were going to be so upset about this, but that's probably my own stupidity. You live and learn, so I wouldn't do something like that again. But hey, that's what it is. Now, that's on the cultish following. I mean, I'm like, wow, these guys are really so hurt by this. Both some of them probably don't care, but some of them and also their followings. I mean, extreme sensitivity about any little criticism whatsoever. Okay, now let me address the Ahmed, Deedat, and Zakir Naik comments. Originally, in my first video, I said, if we're going off of in terms of influence, longevity, let's say the influence on upcoming du'at, as well as non-Muslims, and bringing people to Islam, they're going to be like on the top of the list, right? S-A tier, just if you're going purely off of that. But if you're going purely based off Aqidah, you saw where Ahmadiyya is going to wind up. And if you're going to include what arguments did they make at their time in terms of what is actually a good argument today, what is a relevant argument today for du'at to use, can we still use a lot of their material in a very strong way? No. So that's how I phrased it, and that's the correct way to I think, to phrase it. But then people got so upset and they started attacking me personally. And then I responded in kind, which I probably shouldn't have. And I said, well, since you guys want to keep attacking me like that, and I reacted in a bad way that I shouldn't have used this language. I said, well, in reality, Ahmed, Deedat, and Zakir Naik's arguments, they suck, bro. They honestly suck. And what I meant by that was the same thing I just said before, that many of them cannot be used today because there's good responses to them, or they're outdated, or they're better arguments, et cetera, et cetera. People are going to say, but yeah, Jake, for their time, for their limited ability to research, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but I'm analyzing in today's framework how much of their content is relevant today and what of it is considered still good argumentation that I would recommend to employ for Muslim du'at. Hardly anything. That's my point of view. Okay, especially things that they thought were innovative or specific to them at the time. Now, again, I probably shouldn't have used the language of their argument suck, but people, I responded in kind when I was pushed, and I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Now, does this mean that I hate Zakir Naik? Does this mean that I despise Ahmed Deedat? No. In fact, I have love for them. I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reward them for their efforts. I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would forgive them of their sins, and that he would make others today as influential as they are. Now, I don't know if that'll ever happen. I'm certainly nowhere near that. I understand and recognize that. So don't think that I hate these people. I don't hate Ahmed Deedat or Zakir Naik at all. That's not my view. But and people I respect have messaged me and they said, Jake, yeah, we made similar statements, making posts about this on Facebook and other social media years ago. So we agree with you. We just think your delivery was poor. I could say, okay, I can agree with that. No problem. Come at me for the poor delivery, but don't come at me just because I said I don't think that many of their arguments can be applied in today's Dawah scene and back and forth. You know? So, like this guy is probably a perfect example, right? Desert Fox. Jake is going to be surprised when on the day of judgment, he is ranked in the lowest, inshallah. This is a guy who, if I told you Ahmed Deedat was wearing a funny hat one day and I thought it was kind of ugly, bro, why would you say that about Sheikh Ahmed Deedat? Astaghfirullah. Tawbah, tawbah, tawbah. Like this is the kind of people who respond in that way, you know. Now, let me go through my other bullet points here, what I have here. So that's addressing the video, the cultish following, sensitivity. Obviously, I'm not seeking clout because if I were, this is the worst way to do it. I addressed the Ahmed Deedat and Zakir Naik statements. The overall Ikhwani sort of framework that most of these people are on, unfortunately. Okay, let me address the jealousy claims. Some people think that I'm jealous of these du'at because they do have more following. Guys, if I were seeking following, why would I be doing this? I know that it's stupid to achieve that goal. So that's not it. They think maybe I'm jealous of them because they're doing well. Specifically, Deen responds, an Orthodox Muslim, because I mentioned that they used some of my material in the past and continue to do so and have learned from me and some of my arguments and some of my rhetoric and whatever. Guys, I went to London. How many years ago was that now? Almost 5 years ago, something like 4 or 5 years ago, to teach courses for Sapiens Institute. And when I went there and I met Mohammed Hijab, and he can tell you this, I said, listen, brother, I don't have the popularity that you do. And I probably never will. So, and he was at the time already could see that I had some knowledge to, you know, put forward and that he could take from, especially on Christianity. I said, listen, brother, I think if you use my arguments and get some of this stuff down in Speaker's Corner, you can do so much damage more than I ever could. And I pray that Allah would, you know, allow you to do this and that I can help in any way to facilitate that. And he can tell you that. And the same thing with these other brothers. I'm so happy when they use certain points from me that they think are genuine to use, because if I'm using them, unless I change my mind later on, I think that they're good points and good arguments and things to consider. So I have no problem with people using my arguments or rhetoric or even style or anything. I wish that they would do that in max capacity to what they think any of this stuff that I do is worth. Because if I'm just here to talk to myself and a few people who don't use anything that I have to say, that's not good. What kind of dawah is that? I want people to use my stuff. So I'm not jealous of that at all. But what I don't like, what I don't appreciate is the accusations of jealousy on some people's parts. The accusations that I want to be like them or something like that. The not standing on the correct principles of the Quran wa Sunnah, and the disrespect, the absolute disrespect and disregard for others. That's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. And I'll go into specific examples about that in just a few seconds here. So here, let's see. Here. Now, I mentioned there are couple other comments that people were really upset about, where I said Libiano got, I don't know what word I used, cooked or baked, something like that, by God Logic, and Muslim Lantern, same thing to Jay Dyer. Now, again, I recognize that that's language that I probably shouldn't have used. But again, I was being attacked by all these different people and their fan bases, and even trying to talk to some of those individuals themselves. And I reacted in a brash way. Now, a good thing to say would be, I don't think they did the best in those debates. Here's some constructive criticism, and here's a way to improve for other people watching, right? Maybe that is more receptive than saying they got baked or cooked or whatever. But in reality, do I think they lost those specific debates? Yes, I do, and I'm going to go through as an example. Okay, and I'm not doing this because I'm jealous. Okay, I'll explain the background of actually the Libyano one or Orthodox Muslim one in more detail when we bring that up. Okay, what else we have here? But about Libyano and Deen specifically, I recently made a post of disassociating from them. And there are several reasons for it, but it's primarily because of the whole Ikhwani and, lack of principled nature of their dawah. They are, especially Libyano, these guys are so desperate to get popular, famous at all costs. And I'm not just saying this by trying to get into their heart. I know this based upon things that they've said and done. So I'll give you one example of this. One example of this is recently you saw the statement that was made and drafted against Daniel Haqiqatjou, and 30-something people signed. Even people like Hijab who are Maturidi signed, right? And I'll go into that as well to show what I mean about this Ikhwani mentality of putting the people before Allah or siyasa before aqidah. I approached them privately and asked them if they would be willing to sign it. Now, initially, Deen and Libyano said, yeah, we agree with everything on the list. So, Daniel, this isn't the type of victory that you think it is, brother. They all agree that you're guilty of kufr and shirk, and that you're guilty of slandering Muslim brothers like myself, Fareed Responds, Adnan Rashid. They agree with all that. And if they think, and if I'm lying or misrepresenting them, they can come out and say, Jake, you're wrong. We don't. They told me they agree with everything in the letter. So stop gloating, Danny boy. However, they're unprincipled because they told me, not because I assumed. They explicitly told me, we will not sign this document because we're still on the come up. We're still trying to gain popularity. We're still trying to gain subscribers. And if we do this, if we sign this document, Daniel's audience will no longer watch our content and we will lose viewers, and it will alienate some of our viewers. Now, is that principled? If you believe it's true and you think in all other cases you would sign this. They even said, oh, if it was later on when we were more established, we would sign it. We would sign off on the document. So what does this tell you? They're more concerned with popularity and fame than showing the right message to the people and standing upon the correct aqidah. Then they even explicitly said to me, Brother Jake, even on the intra so-called Sunni content, like they claim to be Athari Salafi, we don't want to make videos against the Ash'aris yet, because if we do, then we'll alienate our audience as well, just as us signing this letter with Daniel. So it's not only about Daniel, it's also about putting forward the correct aqidah in clear terms with distinct videos for it to make it clear to your public, so nobody's wondering what he's on. And also saying that you believe that the aqidah of the Ash'aris and the Maturidis is bid'ah, that it is deviant. It is a deviant aqidah, or in even some cases, in some of their beliefs, kufr. Now, I know that they say they believe this behind the scenes. So now, oh no, Brother Jake, you're exposing them. Why don't they say it publicly? I'm not asking them to go give an entire lecture series on teaching from a major book of aqidah if they're not prepared to do so. I'm not saying that. Why don't you make your position clear and say, I am on the aqidah of the Salaf. I believe in the aqidah of Imam Ahmed. I believe in the aqidah of the Imams of the Sunnah. I don't believe in the aqidah of Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari or al-Maturidi or al-Ghazali or Fakhruddin al-Razi or Saifuddin al-Ahmadi, or blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm not even asking to do all that. Make a simple statement. Make it clear to your audience. You guys don't want your audience to know that. You don't want to refute the bid'ah. You don't want to refute these positions. And I'm not saying you have to do it because you're not experts to do so. Just make clear to your audience, hey, this is what I'm upon. These other creeds are deviant. This is what I think you should follow. And if you want more information for that, go to such and such speakers or books or videos. Just point them in the right direction and point them away from the other direction. Okay? And I'm going to address some of your foolish comments later on, guys. Don't worry. I'm going to get to all. I'm going to get to all of this. But they won't do it. That's why when I say they're after popularity, fame, money, and you guys say, oh, Jake, you're looking into their intentions, you're making accusations, and you don't have the proof for it. This is the proof based upon their statements. The same thing with Mohammed Hijab. The same thing with To Ali Dawah. The same thing with all of these emasculated ikhwanis. Their testicles have been removed from their body. They're Ethidi or Salafi only in name. Whoa, Jake, why would you say that? Now you're getting a little bit too much. Okay. That's my own flaws, maybe. But I believe, and some of the imams of the Sunnah have talked about people like this. They call them emasculated ikhwanis, right? Or even worse names, which I don't even want to mention. Okay, let's see this person here. It says, Libiano debated Esh'aris. Here's a challenge. Here's a challenge. Here's a challenge. He has debated Esh'aris, or he has discussed with them and disagreed with them. Here's a challenge to Libiano, or Deen responds. Before doing anything preemptively, go on your social media, go on your YouTube channel, which is your most popular channels. Go on your YouTube channels, put a question. Do I, Orthodox Muslim, believe that Ash'ari and Maturidi creeds are deviant and should be warned against? Yes, no, I'm not sure what you think. Go and put that poll on your YouTube channel and prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that you're not scared to do that. You don't want it in those clear terms. Or make a video saying the Ethidi creed is correct and Ash'ari and Maturidi creeds are deviant and they even have kufri beliefs. Do that. But they say, oh, Jake, you're manhaj checking. You're aqidah checking. You're trying to force them to do it. No, I'm just showing you that they won't do it because they're not principled. They say, oh, we only want to focus on the kuffar. We don't want to focus on the deviants or ahlul bid'ah. We don't want to do that. We're too low in status to do that. So you guys tell me what it is. Now, this is my main reason for disassociating from them. They're not principled. What are the other main things to get to? The other main things I'm going to get to are addressing the Hamza Mayat, Hamza's Den situation, addressing Ali Dawah's recent video. So that those require me to play videos. And then the Libiano losing to God Logic, I'm going to demonstrate that. The Muslim Lantern one, not as many people are butthurt about it, so I'm not even going to go into it. But I told him after his debate with Jay Dyer that I don't think he did well. And if he wants to lie about this or not, I don't care. Prior to the debate, the day before the debate and the day of, do you know who he contacted for information? Muslim Lantern? Who do you think it was? Oh, it was me. Oh, but they're going to say, oh, Brother Jake, that's just your ego. You're ego tripping. No, I'm just trying to show you guys that these people know me. I'm not a nobody to them, no matter how much they want to say that to themselves. Okay. And I gave him information and he wasn't ready. Muslim Lantern's problem was he was not ready for a debate with Jay Dyer. Because what people don't understand is when it comes to debates, it's not only about the truth. People are thinking, well, Jake, how can you say Libiano and Muslim Lantern lost? They're Muslims. They're on the correct, they have the correct belief. These people are kuffar. Jay Dyer and God Logic and all these people. That's true, but just because you have the truth doesn't mean you want a debate or discussion, because you could have misrepresented the truth. You could have not had the right answers to their questions or accusations. And that's what happened with them. That's what happened with them. Okay, so what do you think, guys? What do you guys want to go through first? I think let's go through the Hamza video, because I think that's like the biggest, most concerning accusation, is people are thinking that I was accusing Hamza Mayat or Hamza's Den of not being Muslim. And what some people don't know is, behind the scenes, I have privately discussed with Hamza before about my concerns about this point. I used to appear on his show before, but then I realized this is wrong, Jake. We've got like 4 or 5 Muslims on the panel. A Christian comes up, uses a particular argument or asks a certain question, and one Muslim is answering in one way and another Muslim is answering in another way, because we don't have the same aqidah and beliefs. And now if I correct him on the live stream, this is going to look really bad. And Hamza invites everybody and their mother on the show, right? Everybody and their mother on the show. So I told him, look, brother, with all due respect, it's your panel. You can run it how you want. But I don't agree with the type of people that you bring on there. Not all of them, of course, but many of them. So I don't want to be a part of this, because he recently, about a month or 2 ago, I forget, invited me on. He's like, he literally said, brother, I miss your knowledge on my show on Christianity and this different stuff, and he really would like you to come back on. And I told him why I didn't want to come back on. Right. So this was long before any of this list stuff happened or anything like that. Has nothing to do like that. I've been trying to, lightly guide him down the right track for a while. And I know other brothers have too. John Fontaine, Yemeni, some of these other brothers have tried to say, look, Hamza, you got to look at the Aqidah, brother. Try to study, try to do some learning. But, it is what it is. He's not listening. So I think that those brothers really should, after seeing this, should really disassociate from him. And again, I'm going to show that this is not based upon accusations. This is based upon facts, what the man said out of his own mouth. And that's going to come back to haunt Ali Dawah when I go through that section next. Okay. So right prior to Hamza's going live on Sunday, he was texting me and we were texting back and forth about some of our differences. Okay. So this is what you're going to see. So in the beginning of the video, you see how he's, let's see here. You see how he's looking down? See how he's looking down for a long period of time? You know why? He's texting me on WhatsApp at this exact time. Okay. Now I'm going to fast forward a couple minutes to show you what he does. He gets a question from the audience, or I don't know, his brain starts going in that direction, and he starts referring to the information that I gave him on those WhatsApp messages that I was messaging him while he's live on the show. And then somebody told me about it, and then I click on the live and I start looking at it. So I'm like thinking to myself, well, bro, if you're basically going to read the content of my messages on the live while I'm texting you live, then why don't you just invite me on to come on so we can have a discussion about this? And that's why I came on. I didn't come on there like a bull in a china shop out of nowhere. So this is the context, guys. But you don't know that because you just get fed the little clip, right, of when I supposedly takfired him, which I didn't.
Then let's stop in that then. I can't make it out seat yet. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be straight with you. What Jake has to say about me is completely irrelevant, because when I questioned him as to I don't care about his opinion of me or what he thinks my Aqidah is or my opinions on different things or why did I do a GoFundMe. I don't care about none of that. Wallahi, Allah's my witness. You can put me in F for this.
Which, by the way, I just did.
But what hit me hard, especially coming from Jake, yeah? What hit me hard, especially coming from Jake, was arguments are weak.
So did you see that, guys? Hamza doesn't care about what I think about his aqidah. Hamza doesn't care about what I think about all of these different things. Let's listen to it again.
My opinion, because when I questioned him as to, I don't care about his opinion of me or what he thinks my aqidah is or my opinion.
He doesn't care what I think about his opinion on aqidah.
Opinions on different things, or
his opinions on different things, which he denies the age of the Prophet's wife, says she was much older at the time, right? He thinks that music is halal. He has a lot of different fiqh opinions that are just out there. They're wrong. They're not correct. But even those are lesser in extent. He was focused on that. I'm like, no, dude, I'm concerned about your aqidah, right?
Why did I do a GoFundMe?
Why did I do a GoFundMe? Right? Like there's this accusation that he was scamming people out of money. He doesn't care if I think he's a scammer, which I didn't say that to him in this video, I think. He doesn't care what I think about his aqidah. He doesn't care what I think about his false opinions that he's taking and promoting live on his channel. He doesn't care about any of that. He only cares about what Jake thinks about his little bitty arguments. Now, does this mean I'm looking too much into it? Or am I judging by what's apparent? He doesn't really care about the aqidah. And how do I know that? Because I messaged him afterward and clarified. Okay? I messaged him afterward and clarified this. And just so I'm not misrepresenting him, he said that for what he's doing, none of this Ash'ari, Salafi, Ethnic stuff, none of it is relevant. He doesn't care about it. Then I said, okay, not just for your dawah and you going after Christians and atheists. What about your own personal beliefs? Do you think it is important for you to know yourself or not? Right? And I said, do you believe that one school is correct and the others are deviant and that they have deviant beliefs? He said he doesn't take a position on this matter. In other words, he doesn't care. He doesn't take a position on it, and he never will. He's like 50 years old or whatever he is. He's never attempted to even study these things and doesn't want to. So this is the problem with the dawah scene. The problem with the dawah scene is these guys are so egoistic. They care about little bitty Jake's opinion about their silly arguments about Christianity or atheism, but they don't care about whether or not they have the correct beliefs about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't care. This is what he's telling you.
I don't care about none of that. Wallahi, Allah's my witness. You can put me an F for this. But what hit me hard, especially coming from Jake, yeah? What hit me hard, especially coming from Jake, was my argumentation. My arguments are weak.
Oh my God.
And I treasure my arguments.
He treasures his arguments.
I sharpen. I clothe them. My argumentation is what I feel is my strongest thing.
But would he ever say that about his aqidah, about his beliefs about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Does he treasure them? Does he try to sharpen them? It's missing, brother. You have your priorities in the wrong order. You have the priorities in the wrong order. So when you understand this context, you'll understand why I say what I say when I come on.
So if someone wants to question me because I don't agree with what they agree with aqidah-wise and this, that, the other, I don't care about that. But he said, my argumentation is weak. So I messaged him and I asked him, what's so weak about my arguments? I said, tell me one of my weak arguments that you've heard me use. Tell me a weakness in my arguments. Yeah.
See, look at this. This is the kind of people that we're dealing with here. Yes, calling arguments weak against foolish religions is just false. So let me ask you this. Since you're a brainiac, I think you're a really smart guy or girl, I don't know. If I say that Christianity is false because I like vanilla ice cream, is that a good argument? Would it be okay to say, Brother Jake, we think you need to go to the mental hospital because you just used an argument in a video where you said that Christianity is false because JBrancatella likes vanilla ice cream? This shows how foolish you people are when you make a statement. It's insane.
Tell me a weakness in my arguments so I can strengthen them. And he said, well, you haven't given any strong arguments. He said, I didn't say you didn't give any strong arguments. I said, but you're implying they're all weak because you said my arguments are weak. So just name me an argument that's weak. Then it turns out, so he asked me then, what arguments do I use? Which is strange if you know what arguments I use. So I said John 17:3, deep dive into Paul, and the other thing. And then I said the English test. And then his response completely and utterly shocked me, because his response was basically the John 17:3, the argument against Paul, the questioning of blood sacrifice, on the reliability of the Gospels, are arguments that have been said since the 80s for the past 30 years. So there's nothing innovative about them. But I've just recently explained to him that it's not necessarily having the knowledge of these arguments, it's how you present them, and it's how you deliver them. Sorry, how you deliver.
Anyway, he carries on, but he's basically admitting that he doesn't have innovative arguments, that they've all been used for a long time. And that's not a problem, but he has to understand that in my actual ranking there, I was putting a strong emphasis on the innovative nature of arguments and people doing firsthand critical research on Islamic texts or Christian texts or whatever they're looking at. This guy doesn't read. He doesn't really do much reading. I know he does his own little reading shows. He doesn't do much reading, guys. He doesn't do much reading. And most of these guys, that's how you can put them in one category or another. Are they readers or are they not readers? 90% of them are not readers. And that's the same thing in the Christian community and the atheist community, right? So anyway, let me go to another portion here, which I wanted to play for you guys. Let's see here. I'm going to play you this part.
It's like my brother John Fontaine said. But if you don't watch, how would you know if your arguments are good or not? I'd be embarrassed to tell someone your arguments are crap, mate. Really? What's crap about them? I don't know. I don't know them. But I think they're crap because you don't agree with my Aqidah. Thank you. Thank you. I already am a shirk apologist.
Did you hear that? He said, I already am a shirk apologist. And what he was responding to someone in the chat who said to him, now that you had this disagreement with Jake, he's going to call you a shirk apologist. And his response was, I already am a shirk apologist, and he's laughing about it. So by the fact that he said he's already a shirk apologist, he's laughing about it. But the fact that he said he doesn't care what we think or Muslims think about his, or what I think about his Aqidah or his beliefs, then that's why I went on the show in that framework. And he thinks that I have no right to criticize his arguments just because I never heard of one argument called the English test. My brother, some arguments that you're using are good. And what I showed in my discussion with Hamza, he accused me of saying that his arguments were weak in the video. But we actually went to the video and it was shown that I never said that his arguments were weak. I actually praised him on several points on his rhetoric, his delivery, his social skills and ability to talk to people, his delivery. I praised him on all those things, but I said his arguments are pretty basic and not really much innovative, so I'm going to put him in the C range. Now I said that he doesn't really have that much knowledge about Islam or Christianity, which is true. He took that and said, no, Jake is saying that my arguments are weak, they suck, blah, blah, blah. It's not true at all. I never said these things. Never said that about it. So now let me go back to the Hamza video very quickly. Hamza's done. and show you guys, or do I even really need to? Do I even really need to play it? I don't think I really even need to play that section. So let me explain. When I came on there and I was using hyperbolic language to really drill down to him to expose what I just said, that this man doesn't actually care about Aqidah. He cares about what people think of his arguments rather than the truth about who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. That's the truth. And that's the same thing with pretty much all these other guys. That's how they are. Because if they weren't, why don't they invest their time in sitting down at the feet of scholars and actually learning the correct beliefs and speaking about them publicly? They don't. He explicitly told me he doesn't care about them. Even privately, he says this. He doesn't think it's important at all, even for his own personal beliefs, not just speaking about it publicly. So this is where these guys are. So when I go on his YouTube channel, after I see he's basically reading out my messages or, you know, mentioning the content of the videos, the content of our messages back and forth on WhatsApp, I say, okay, why don't I just join the stream? So I start asking, we start discussing, and he claims, oh, I said his arguments are weak, that he's, what is he concerned with? We play the video, it shows that I never said that. Then he apologizes to me. I didn't accept his apology because I don't care about this weak argument thing or not. I care about the fact that he doesn't care about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does not care about the correct beliefs about who Allah is. He doesn't care about that. He told me that directly. So then I said to him, well, and I took an extreme example. I said, so wait, you don't care if I think you're Muslim or not? You don't care if I doubt your Islam? He's like, no, I don't care about that. So I asked those questions and I said, oh, I'm not really sure if you're Muslim or not. I was doing that in a hyperbolic way to show and display to the audience who he is and what he's upon, that he doesn't actually care about the correct aqidah, the correct beliefs, and what Muslims think about his beliefs. He only cares about what Muslims think about his petty arguments with Christians. So this is not a genuine, sincere person. This is not a person who has the correct principles and things lined up in the correct order. He doesn't at all. So other than that, if I played the rest, it would just be a waste of time. Now, let me go to the Ali Dawah video. So Ali Dawah, in response, let me see here. Ali Dawah, in response to a post that I made where I said that I disassociate myself from Deen and Libiano because I think that they are not principled and that they are more concerned with pleasing men and getting popularity and fame than pleasing Allah. And I already explained to you why I said that. It's based upon the fact that they explicitly told me that they're avoiding these subjects now because they don't have enough popularity and they'll only get into it later. It's like once they've swooned these people into their audience, now they'll start talking about it a little bit. Dude, I was talking about it when I had like, I don't know, 10,000 subscribers or something. So, and that was on my first account. So anyway, Ali Dawah is going to come here to save the day to speak for these young cats. And he's going to tell me why Jake is so wrong and he's a bad guy and he's doing this for this and blah, 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 blah. He had actually messaged me on WhatsApp before this and was complaining about my statements about Ahmed, Deedat, and Zakir, Naik, and these different people. And, you know, I said, listen, bro, you're mentioning a bunch of different things. Why don't we just get on a call and talk about it? Otherwise, you're not going to understand my perspective. Basically, everything that I'm just explaining now. And he refused to get on a call with me and said, no, basically, he's just going to put out the video. So now that you've heard a lot of what I've said, you're going to see that what Ali Dawah says in this video is not in the proper context and that he's actually dishonest. And I'm going to demonstrate that. Okay, so let's take a look. It's not that long. It's about 10 minutes.
Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and dear friends. Hope you guys are well, inshallah. When I talk about these issues, guys, people call me Ali Drama. And Black Sheikh Uthman Farooq says, save the drama for your mama. Now, I don't believe it's drama. When I talk about this stuff, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is my witness. I don't got my way. I don't want to do it, but I get really irritated and annoyed. And most of the times when I do these videos, it's not that someone's wronged me. It's rather that someone has wronged others. And wallahi, I'll be honest with you. If there's anything that I would want to be remembered for the sake of Allah, is to defend the honor of other Muslims. Because if anything, Muslims do what? Attack other Muslims, degrade them, insult them. And that's exactly what's happened. Now, I've decided not to mention the name. It's very obvious. I just don't want to go into that. I've privately messaged the brother, spoke to him, and made my opinions very, very clear to him. Why? And before I get to that though, inshallah, when it comes to brother Libiano, Orthodox Muslim, the Orthodox Muslim, and brother Deen responds, and wallahi, I'll be honest with you, exactly what it says in the title. Uqsum billah, wallahi, I have worked with them in the sense where I've studied underneath them. Alhamdulillah, they are much younger than me, and I am absolutely proud. I don't have this ego thing of they are younger than me and they're upcoming, and I don't. Wallahi al-azim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. Yes? Anybody that serves the deen. And if you're a YouTuber, like a big Ali Dawah YouTuber like me, and a newcomer comes and I have a, like, oh, you know, this is a disease of the heart. And wallahi, wa billah.
Sorry about that. I'm muted. He's trying to frame this as if, oh, Jake is jealous of these up and coming new guys. That's not true at all. I have privately, well, publicly, I praised them on a few occasions and reshared their videos and posts on Twitter, especially with Deen. And I encouraged them privately as well. So it's nothing to do with that. I hope their dawah flourishes. I just hope that they do things in the right manner, right? And I don't think that they're fully doing that. So that's where I'm at with it.
What illahi? Uqsum billah, I swear upon the Rabb of the Kaaba, because I genuinely mean this. I know I say this a lot, and Sheikh Hazm tells me, Ali, be easy with taking off, etc. Deen responds, and the Orthodox Muslim, I'm warning you guys against them. I am warning you against these two people. I'm making it categorical. I've gone off the hide. I'm being straight up. I'm warning you guys against them. You know why? These guys are lethal, bro. I've studied with them, bro. Let me tell you something. They're beautiful brothers. I've seen nothing but goodness in them. I've seen nothing but softness in them. May Allah bless and preserve them. May Allah forgive them for what we don't know about them. And may Allah make them better than what we think of them. So I want to be careful with my praise as well. I don't want to overpraise them. May Allah protect them. They are brothers. And if there's anything that I will tell them and anyone in the dawah scene, intentions, yes. And for me personally, I say always, brothers in the dawah, make dua. Allah protects you from the fitna of women. Okay. Now, other than that, wallahi, and I'm not trying to overpraise them. They're human beings. Anyone that has loyal to Allah and His Messenger, I'm loyal with them. I have no loyalty to anyone, not to Libiano, not to Deen Response, not to Daniel Haqiqatjou, not to Jake, not to Farid, not to Hashim, Mansour, whoever you want to name, Mohammed, Hijab, whoever you want to name it. Anyone that goes against that, we should all have a problem, even if it's me, if I go against those principles. So, these brothers, mashallah, when it comes to argumentations, the research that they do, the effort that they put through, I'm so sorry. We should, in the dawah, be happy that the upcoming generation, me and Mohammed Hijab, wallahi, we are so happy. And even Zishan, we are so happy that these kind of brothers are upcoming and they are lethal. And I warn you against them. And who am I warning? The Christians and the enemies of Islam. Because this next generation are lethal, bro. They are cold as ice. They are making your lives hell. That's the reason why I disagree so much with a brother who's come out and calling people who have given their life to the deen, like Ahmed, Deedat, Zakir, Naik, that their arguments suck. Yes? With all due respect. Or this person, we don't know if he's a Muslim. Or Libiano.
See, their arguments suck. I already clarified what I meant by Zakir Naik and Ahmed Deedat. And many of the other du'at would agree that a lot of their stuff is outdated and is not really good to use nowadays. Now, I said about using the argument of suck or a language of suck that only came after these people were provoking me. So anyway, it's no excuse. I shouldn't use that language. But he then, what did he mention? There was something else there.
With all due respect. Or this person, we don't know if he's a Muslim. Or
oh, yeah, see that about this person, we don't know if he's a Muslim. I believe that Hamza's den is a Muslim. I believe he's a deviant, but I don't believe he's a kafir. I believe he's a Muslim. He's just misguided and very ignorant person. Okay. So, and I explained the context of that. And Ali Dawah would have had all that context had he actually been willing to speak to me privately on the phone. But he only wanted to rant and rave and wouldn't actually get on a phone call with me. So what does that say, Mr. Adi?
Libiano or Deen Response is doing it for the fame and money. Excuse me? How do you know? How do you know that? Aki, how do you know that? I'm sorry, I've been told not to do this video. This is my own take and I'm doing it. I'm so sorry. You know why? Because it is wrong. Someone and the group of brothers who are serving the deen, let's suppose some are doing it for them. I don't care, bro. I don't see that. I don't know the heart. I judge from what's apparent. And judging from what's apparent is what? These brothers are trying their best. And if they're doing it for the wrong reasons, including myself, Allah will use us for his deen and we will end up in the hellfire. May Allah protect us. So the reason I'm doing this video is to say, guys, Brother Deen responds, Brother Libiano, alhamdulillah, the upcoming brothers in the YouTube scene are doing absolutely fantastic. May Allah protect them against arrogance and ill intentions and doing it for the wrong reasons, which I reject that they're doing that. There's nothing that they've shown that doing that. And like I said before, I'm not saying, because we obviously have to be careful about overpraising people. So I'm very careful. From what we see nothing but goodness. They serve the religion, and it should be a warning to all of the enemies of Islam. They are making your life hell. And we are right behind our brothers till the day we die. As long as they are on the haqq, we are behind them. Okay? And if they come off it, and if I come off it, I want them to correct me, and I will correct them. But for that brother, for the brother who is going and putting them in a category A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever it is for that matter, I believe I'm right at the bottom.
First of all, I put Deen and Libiano in a B category next to me. So I really wasn't really hating on them in the video. That's crazy.
That category. And I don't mean this in any humble ways at all. I think I should be Z. Yes, believe me. I believe I'm the least knowledgeable in the dawah scene and the most problematic probably in the dawah scene. Okay, may Allah forgive me. But let me tell you, if I was to categorize who's causing more harm to the dawah with these moves, I will put that brother who's doing these videos right at the top. You are giving ammunition and saying that apparently Libiano, Orthodox wasn't got destroyed by God logic. Brother,
So I'm going to address that. That's going to be like the final main point I address about Libiano losing his debate to God logic.
The least knowledgeable. God logic, triangle square. Yes, you saw what happened. The absolute idiotic moron. He's probably watching this. The guy believes you can have a triangle square. God logic, dog logic. At least a dog logic believes in one master, serves one master. He's no logic. Libiano destroyed him on multiple occasions. Yes, and we are behind our brother Libiano. And Deen responds, let's make that categorically clear for anybody that is coming for them. I don't give a damn who you are, bro. Okay, you have no right to come and tarnish the dawah. Okay, and the brothers in the dawah who are trying their best, Habibi. Okay, may Allah forgive you for this move. We don't know what the issue is, but I just want to make this categorically clear that you're not going to come here, bro. For whatever reason you have, or whatever you're going through, may Allah make it easy for you, bro. And I've messaged you.
He's trying to make it seem like I'm having health problems or mental health issues. I'm not. You guys can disagree with me and what I'm saying, but just, you know, it's interesting, like how I'm going into, they claim I'm going into their intentions and to their inner feelings and states and stuff like that. But there's a claim that I'm having a mental health crisis or that I'm having health difficulties. And that's why I'm, you know, doing or saying whatever I'm saying. So you see the hypocrisy, right? Like I'm being accused of going into their hearts when I'm going based off of what they've just said, right? And Deen responds, I saw your little post there because your friends here are putting it in the chat. And now I'm going to expose you as a liar. Now you're a straight up lying shaitan. So I'm going to expose that. So keep talking, buddy. You're going to get exposed.
On private message as well. So anything I'm saying here is no different to what I said there, Habibi. Yeah. Okay. Genuinely disappointed, genuinely upset and hurt. But I just want to say, alhamdulillah, brothers are doing a fantastic work and they have the support of their brothers here in the UK and around the world. Sheikh Uthman Farooq and whoever it is for that matter. Okay. Anyone that comes and tries to tarnish the dawah and tries to throw mud to brothers who are doing good work, and for those who have given their life, who have passed away, and you say their arguments suck, I'm not going to say nothing, bro. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you and allow you to understand the mistake that you're doing. And like I said,
it's a mistake. Okay, good. It's a mistake that I said their arguments suck. They're outdated and they should be refined and we should use better, more up-to-date, more critical arguments.
Before, guys, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me for anything that I've said that is wrong. I don't mean anything hurtful. Even this brother who's doing this, wallahi Aki, I have nothing but love for you. I'm just genuinely disappointed that you are going after me. You've done nothing to me.
To be honest, what's one thing that you...
Oh, boy.
Anything to me, nothing. But, bro, what you're doing is wrong. Please, I hope you retract this and fix your ways, because one thing that I will say, because we was talking about judging from what's apparent, yeah? bro, I see arrogance. I see some kind of, I can be totally wrong, arrogance of one, I'm better than thy.
So see, he can judge by what's apparent and call me arrogant, but I can't judge by what's apparent by what these people have explicitly said to me directly and done publicly. I can't judge by that and say, therefore, they're in it for this or that.
I'm more holy than thou. Yes? Okay. Aki, wallah, this is dangerous. Be very careful that you are not holy than everyone else. You're not someone that knows better. Okay? Alhamdulillah, you are a revert just like myself. Okay? Please, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you and allow you to come to your senses, inshallah. That's all I want to say. Sorry for the rant, guys. But it really, really, really hurt me. And I just, people told me not to do the video, but I couldn't help myself. Till next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless and preserve all the brothers in the dawah and sisters who are serving his deen and trying to make Allah's kalam the highest, including our brother who's wronged other brothers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow him to come back. He is a great asset. One thing I do want to say as well before I forget, the brother at hand that we're talking about who's doing this, he has so much potential. He is I would say he is a gem in the dawah, or should I say was. Yes, I hope he can come back. He's got
I was a gem in the dawah, but I'm no longer, guys.
So much to offer, and so many people have learned through him. Don't ruin this, bro. Do not ruin this. Yes, by coming and saying, oh, this person took my style. Habibi, it doesn't belong to you. Allah gave you that, bro. If anyone comes and takes it, who cares? If someone comes and calls themselves, I don't know, something dawah, who cares?
It's not about somebody taking my style or arguments. That's the problem. I hope that they do that. Take what's good for me, right? Take the good style or the good arguments. That's great. The problem is that when you do that, and then at the same time, you tell people that I'm jealous of you and are saying all kinds of negative and bad things about me, right? Then that's when there's a problem and contradiction. Because like, well, if I'm jealous of you, Habibi, as he keeps saying, Habibi, if I'm jealous of you, Habibi, and I want to be like you, then why are you taking my arguments and my style and coming to me to ask me questions and binge watching my videos when I'm not really doing that with you? Like, make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. This is not egoistic. This is just a fact of the matter. It's a simple fact of the matter. So I'm not jealous. I hope they take what's good for me. But when you do that, don't disrespect me at the same time, which they have.
I'm going to say, oh, it's mine. Yeah? No, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bro. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow you to be used like that from us, that we can learn from you. But if you turn around, bro, and do this kind of stuff, subhanallah.
Ali, you've been learning from me, or you tried to learn a little bit from me. It didn't last too long. You were sitting, I gave private classes to these guys like 5 years ago, right? So, and they messaged me, and remember that big problem that happened, Ali, when you had that debate with, or if you want to call it that, debate with Apus? You messaged me afterward to come on your show to fix the problem that she caused, right? And to address some of these points and so on and so forth. So it's just strange to me, like how people forget some of these things, but then they claim that I'm jealous of them and all this kind of. Usually the people you're jealous of, you seek them out. They don't seek you out. You know what I mean? So it's just strange.
May Allah protect us, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everything you...
Okay, so that's the end of the video. Now, since Deen is watching, how you doing, Deen? I thought you were better than this. Other people had told me, I'm going to be honest with you, other people had told me that this guy is a liar, but I said, nah, man, he seems like a cool cat. He's not a liar. So apparently he's tried to answer my challenge of him coming out and making a post about the correct aqidah. So let me show you guys this. Okay, this was just a couple minutes ago. He just put this out. So Deen, I'm going to actually put the link for Deen. If he wants to, he can come up, because I will literally take an oath before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do a mubahala right now with Deen based upon what he says. So he says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I, Deen responds, believe that the Ethnic creed is the one true creed, and that the other creeds contain deviant or even kufri entailments in believing them. Notice he doesn't mention Ash'ari or Maturidi specifically, right? But why is it that Brother Jake said this, and that had to make him go and do this, which it's just strange, bro. Like, you shouldn't be doing things because of Brother Jake. You should be doing things because you think that you should do them and that they're principled. So did you put this up here because you realized Brother Jake made a good point that you should actually make a post like this? Or did you put it up in spite just to try to make me look bad? Which one is it, bro? Because, like, why haven't you done this before? This is the thing. Let me see if I could zoom in, actually. Does it make it better? Let's see. Yeah, okay. So that's better. So he says, Deen responds, blah, blah, blah. I read the part. My channel is oriented against Christians mainly and defending Islam. And what kind of Islam? The Ash'ari Islam? Maturidi? The Mu'tazili Islam? The Shi'i Islam? The Islam of Ibn Sina? Of Ibn Arabi? Which one? I don't expand in detail on these topics as I'm no expert. Okay, I can agree with you, you're no expert, so you don't have to expand in a lot of detail. He says, however, everyone on my Discord server agreed I never hid my beliefs, and if anyone ever asked me, I would let them know I'm ethity. Deen, you have to understand, brother, people don't have a problem with you saying you're ethity. Mohammed Hijab has said that he's ethity or Hanbali for years, but yet he gets all this fame and popularity. They don't care if you say that you're ethity or Salafi or Ahl al-Hadith. They care if you attack the creed or criticize the creed of the Ash'aris and the Maturidis and say that it's wrong and say that the people who are promoting it, name them, are deviants. That's what they care about. That's what you don't do, and you'll never probably do, because you're following in the footsteps of the other people who have written the playbook for you to try to gain popularity. And then he said, I've never told Jake I don't want to sign the Haqiqatjou paper because it'll hurt my fame, etc. Astaghfirullah, I'm sure people who are close to me can't even imagine me saying such words. I said, and I'll copy paste what I told Fareed. My brother, wallahi, uqsim billah, you are lying. You are an absolute liar. Absolute liar based upon that statement. You called me on the phone and I gave you credit. At least you had enough guts to call me. I'll explain to you guys exactly what happened. What happened was I contacted these brothers. I sent them the document. Deen initially said that he agreed to sign it. Then he must talk to Libiano, and Libiano kind of talked him out of it. Libiano initially kind of agreed as well, or said, you know, they agree with everything in there. I'm not saying that they don't agree with what's in the document, but they didn't want to sign it. Libiano never even responded back to my message. I messaged him on WhatsApp to say, hey, bro, we're about to put this statement out. We want to see if you're going to get on it or not. He didn't respond. 4 or 5 days, whatever went by, and then his butler, one of his good personal friends, reaches out to me and says, Brother Jake, I just want to let you know, 5 days later, Libiano's not going to sign the document, and whatever, I'm not going to mention the rest of it, but he says he's not going to sign it, and he's too shy to tell you. So Libiano, the big bad guy, the one who's going against all the cross-lickers and destroying all the kuffar, he's too shy to respond to my message when I didn't even coerce him into anything. I just asked him respectfully, brother, can you respond to me? No response. He sends his butler to come and tell me that no, he can't sign it and he's too shy to tell you. So Deen, even though now you're a liar, I still grant you enough credit that you actually contacted me. You had enough bolas. You had enough cojones to actually call and message me and say, Jake, I'm not going to sign it, and here's why. And you said that Libiano is doing it for the same reasons. Now, what you said to me explicitly, wallahi, I am standing before Allah, and I will stand before Allah on Judgment Day and say this exact same thing. Let me remove this so you can see me clearly, Deen. And I want you to stop lying, because now you're lying. What you said was explicitly, you said that my audience is not big enough, Brother Jake. I haven't even reached barely 20,000 subscribers yet. This is literally the language you used. And if you say I'm lying, then come and take an oath before Allah on this channel right now. Do it, because I know you're watching. You won't do it because you know it's true. You said, Brother Jake, I don't even have, and I remember exactly what you said. I was shocked and I was quiet. You know, and I probably should have actually responded how I am now, but I tried to say, you know what, let me give him a little time and see if he's going to change his mind. But it didn't happen. So you said, Brother Jake, I'm not going to sign it because my channel is too small. I don't even have barely 20,000 subscribers left. And I don't want to alienate my audience because some of the viewers that view Daniel's channel also view mine, and I don't want to lose those viewers. That's what you said. And then you also said explicitly that, oh, Brother Jake, Daniel also has a big platform and he's powerful, and I don't want him to come after me. I don't want him to come after me because then that's going to stifle my platform and the growth on my channel. And I'm going to lose followers. This is what you explicitly said. Explicitly. Now, let me finish reading this. Going back to this here. Okay, he said, I'll copy and paste what I told Fareed. He said he could have a horde of his followers start attacking my channel and deviate from what I usually do. I mean, the quotation marks are in a weird place, so I don't know what exactly. Is it the whole thing that's supposed to be a quote? Not sure. Then you said there's enough people on the list who condemned him to show he's wrong. There's no need to coerce myself or Libiano to sign it. I don't know if that's just part of your, I'm assuming that's just part of what you're saying now, not a part of your message to Fareed. And then he said, Jake is a despicable person for trying to bring private convos into light in distorted fashion to try and attack me and Libiano's intentions. This is why I've removed all contact from him and will no longer speak to him anymore. So there you go. He probably won't come up because he doesn't want to speak to me, and that's fine. I don't really care. I actually blocked them on WhatsApp as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us sincere in the cause of dawah. Ameen. So yeah, my problem now is, number one, Deen, why are you doing this just to please me? Why haven't you made a post like this before? Or have you? Maybe I missed it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, why are you not naming the Ash'aris or Maturidis? And why is it the case that you're saying that you didn't mention anything about numbers on your channel and losing viewers? And also another thing that you explicitly said to me, Wallahi, uqsim billah. You said, let me stop sharing this, back full screen. You also said to me, Brother Jake, I also don't want to get into the intra-Sunni disputes. So this is now beside from Daniel, but somewhat related to it because it's supposedly intra-Sunni. You said, I also don't want to make any videos or get into intra-Sunni disputes because I don't have a big enough platform yet, and that will stifle my growth and I won't gain as many followers. That's literally what you said. Okay. Then I voiced this concern to other brothers before I went live with this. I spoke to Fareed Responds. I spoke to Ibrahim from Proving Islam. Both of them agreed with me. Both of them agreed with me that you guys should be doing what I'm saying and that you're not. And Proving Islam said that he told you that you should and that they've been trying to encourage you to make a couple little short videos on this. And that you refuse to do it so far, that you haven't done it. So it's not just me who's concerned and thinking that this is wrong. And I didn't think this was the case. I said, oh yeah, brother, give him time. They're going to get into it eventually. But when you tell me that you're not because of the numbers, that's the issue. Okay? So now, let me see here. People are saying Deen's here. I don't think you really want to do this, Deen. I mean, I shouldn't laugh because it's not a matter really to laugh about, but I don't think you want to do this, brother. 1 second. I just got to check something real quick. 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had a message that I'd respond to because I've been on here for almost 2 hours. So here, I'm going to put in the chat, and I'm not going to be inviting everybody up. If Dean's here and he actually wants to speak on the issue, he can speak on the issue. I have no problem with that. So I'm going to put this here. Let me see if I could pin it here in the chat. Let me see. How do I pin it? See, I have to go now actually to my channel. Let's see if I can do it here. Sorry, guys. Let's see where we go. Okay, here. I think we got the link. Come on. This thing ain't working right. Okay, pin message. Okay, I think the link is there and it's pinned. It should be pinned. Let me go back here. Dean, if that's you, I'm not going to rise you with that name. So you got to change that name, bro. I'm not, this person has, okay, let's see. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because I know this is probably some type of scammer. Or it might be one of these trolls. I'm going to take a picture of you. Don't worry. We got you. Oh, you ran away. That's what I thought, bro. That's what I thought. You're going to run away. It's probably one of these little clowns. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if he's still here. Because if he comes back, right? If he comes back, we're going to get you. Oh, now all these people want to join in. Okay, I'm going to bring up Deen response. I think this is the real Deen. If it's not, then we're going to remove him immediately. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, what's going on?
How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing great. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, so how about we start with this Aqidah thing, right? Because obviously that's very important. So everyone knows we don't hide the fact that we believe the Ash'ari Aqidah and the Maturidi Aqidah are deviant. Everyone knows this, that know me for a very long time, as well as Libiano. We literally had, I think it was like 3 hours. It was like 3 hours worth of streams where we were specifically focusing on that, or even going on TikTok lives and discussing it, associating ourselves with those that do critique the Ash'ari Aqidah as well, amongst others. I think it's a very weak point that
On YouTube?
when I say on YouTube, yes, even on YouTube, we've defended and critiqued the we've
Yeah, can
defended
you give
Athari
me a link
Aqidah
to
and
that?
we've critiqued the other Aqidas.
Can you give me a link to that? Where is it on your channel?
So there was a past stream with Libiano. So I don't, it's not on my channel. So yeah, it's one
It's
of the
not on your
streams with
channel, it's
Libiano.
on his channel.
Yeah, from what I remember, I went on Libiano's channel. It was me, Enes, and Vienna. Now, regardless, like, you shouldn't be policing people into, you know, like, you haven't watched all of our content. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when I say all the other aqidas I believe are wrong, deviant, and even lead to kufri entailments, Jake, what other aqidah I'm going to be talking about, dude? It's so obvious. Why do I need to name them explicitly? Like, that's so, I'm even saying it right now on stream. I don't care.
The people don't know.
Oh my God. They don't know, and you want me to talk to them about it, and they don't even know. And you want me to
Exactly.
talk to the
They need
audience
to
about
be
it.
educated.
People
What's
know these general discussions. I'm no expert to speak on it. Now,
You have to
everyone
be.
knows what I'm talking about in terms of the other creeds as soon as they understand what I mean by I believe in the Athari creed, right? That's the first thing. Now, beyond that, let's talk a bit about the statements, right? When I spoke to you on WhatsApp on phone call, right? You didn't mention on stream until I mentioned the fact that the other channels, such as Daniel, etc., they're gonna have their minions come on my channel. They're gonna deviate my channel from actually what I'm looking to do, right? You didn't include that detail when you mentioned how I'm on the rise, and I told you I'm on the rise and I don't want this to happen. You didn't mention that detail until I mentioned it.
Yeah, but that was about squashing your following.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that.
It means that Daniel's people who may watch your channel are not going to want to watch it anymore.
I don't care about that. What?
You don't.
If I cared about that, why would I give that statement out just now?
Because you didn't make a statement about Daniel. What are you talking about?
Dude, it's public knowledge that, and you even said it on your stream, that I told you I agree that what Daniel's statements
so
are.
then why wouldn't you
are
sign
kufr.
it? It doesn't make any sense.
Because, dude, one, I told you from the very beginning on WhatsApp on the phone call, and I'm telling you now, once I'm on the statement there, you know, his minions are gonna come and they're gonna come on my channel. They're gonna want to speak about it. I never speak about Aqidah on my channel unless it's a very specific topic where I'm defending the Athari Aqidah or we're critiquing the Ash'ari Aqidah. It's not a main thing for my channel because I'm no expert. If we do speak about it, I'll have people like Isa come on my channel. I'll be on with Libiano and Vienna and the likes because I'm not as well read as them. However, I make it clear to everyone, even on my Discord, right? I don't care. Like on my Discord, I made it very clear that I could even probably bring up statements in the past where I was like, guys, Daniel's like tripping here and Daniel's like saying some kufri stuff here. I make it very clear. I don't mind saying it. But the point is that as soon as you put me on that list, we know that people are going to come to my comment section. They're going to want to talk about these topics instead of focusing on the dawah that I give to Christians. That was the reason why. Now, it's not because of fame. It's not because of money or whatever. Like, you can't judge someone's intentions, especially when they're telling you their intentions are not that.
Okay, so you did not explicitly tell me that if you signed the document that you are going to lose following from those that follow Daniel's channel and that you haven't even barely reached 20,000 subs yet. And also when it comes to so-called intra-Sunni discussions, that you're not getting that to now because you don't have enough of a foundation of audience. You haven't reached the level of popularity to do that. You said, oh, maybe I'll get into that later on. So none of that's true. I'm just imagining all that.
When did I say, okay, I never said any of your statements aren't true in terms of you quoting me, but the context in which you quoted me did not include the context that I haven't reached a following yet.
Okay, hold
in terms of if someone's going to make a statement like this and there's going to be backlash or whatever it might be, you can deal with that, dude. You can deal with that. Possibly other channels have hundreds of thousands. You can deal with that. But if there's, what'd you say?
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at this joker who keeps coming in here, don't worry, I'm gonna catch you, buddy. You know, we know that there's some people doing this foolishness. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Jake. What I advise, bro, is you stop the stream.
Bro, what I told you, what I said on this platform now is true, and you're saying that you never said that. You did.
No,
say
I never said. No. You're misquoting me again. What I said was you didn't include the context of why I was saying that, because if I make these statements on my channel, I barely have 20,000. I don't really speak about these topics. It's gonna like I told you. People from other channels, such as Daniel's, are going to come and attack. They're going to come in the comment section. They're going to deviate the dawah that I'm giving to Christians. I don't want that on my channel.
But that's only one part of it.
But wait, Jake, let me tell you this. But you guys had enough signatures already. I had spoken to Farid to make a statement clear. And if anyone asks me about Daniel's positions, I'll make it clear. I don't want to get involved in this drama or get involved in this back and forth between you and Daniel, where now Daniel's highlighting on his streams, or you're highlighting on your streams, my statements, where you have hordes coming to my comment section, deviating the dawah I give to Christians or other kuffar. I don't want that.
Yeah, that's one point. But you're acting as if the other part of what I said you didn't say. You also said in reference to subscriber count specifically that this is going to hurt your audience base. You
in the context of what I just told you right now.
Yeah, so then there's no difference.
You didn't add that context, Jake. Jake, you didn't add that context. Jake, you didn't add that context.
The additional thing is Daniel putting your name on the list is not only going to hurt your subscriber count, it's also going to deviate you to be forced to start talking about certain things related to him instead of dawah to Christians, and you don't want to get into that. That's a second thing. That's fine. I'm not disputing that you believe that, but I'm saying the first thing is fundamental to what I said, and it is directly related to my point, which is my problem with everyone else that I mentioned.
Jake, if I was going after subscriber count or whatever it might be, and that was my pure intention, why would I be speaking about intricate topics or even tackling Ash'aris on TikTok lives with Leafy or even Libiana? Why would I be doing that? For you to say that we're unprincipled is wrong.
It is.
You just haven't consumed our content like that, and that's fine. But we're very principled on our own. Jake, let me finish. We're very principled on our own aqidah. We make it very clear. Actually, the other day when Libiana made a statement about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being spatially extended, you had people on Twitter critiquing him. He told them, you guys are Jahmis, right? So we have no problem in doing that.
Yeah, we know that, bro. I'm not saying that no statement was ever made. You're missing the point. I'm not saying that you didn't tell your Discord server anything. I'm saying that your statement to me specifically is related to intra-Sunni disputes, which you don't want to get into, partially because you're not an expert, which I respect. You should not talk about these things in detail if you don't know about them, just as nobody else should. But also, in addition to that, you can't deny and say it's not related to popularity and how people view you and your ability to gain more followers. You can't say that it's not relevant to that whatsoever. It is, and you said as much as that.
Yeah, but Jake, I said that in the context of we're giving dawah to Christians. Why would I be talking about these topics when, one, I'm not an expert, that's as you just stated, or two, the main focus on my channel is not on this particular topic? Why would I be talking about it if I'm not specialized? And also regardless, Jake, regardless, the added context I gave you where I don't want people coming my channel, filling up the comments, and Daniel attacking my channel and whatever it might be. When as you guys know, bro, like we just started our channels and we're trying to give dawah to Christians. Why would I be bringing up this topic now instead of slowly integrating into my channel and making it so that I have a foundational basis where people understand my creed and so on and so forth, and then slowly go into it. Now, whatever I do with my channel, right? Nothing that I've done can allow you to call me like an ikhwani or anything like that. No one agrees with you on that. I'm going to be honest. Ibrahim doesn't. Other people I've spoken to haven't. Because if that's your standard, if that's your standard, then who's not an ikhwani according to you?
most people aren't. I just told you that I could bring up Ibrahim's messages if you really want, or you can bring him here to the channel, bro. He told
So
me something.
Ibrahim said I'm an Ikhwani?
That he's trying, him and other brothers have been trying to push you guys lightly along to start doing some of the things that I've said. And they're
Wait, did Ibrahim call me an Ikhwani?
I don't know if he used that word specifically. I'd have to go back. And
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, Jake, who do you actually view as not an Ikhwani right now?
Bro, I literally just went through the whole list. I'm not going through the whole list again. I'm dealing
besides
with
besides Shamsi.
I don't believe that Fareed is an Ikhwani. I don't believe that Bassam is an Ikhwani. I mentioned other people who were on the list. And
okay, so them three and the rest are Ikhwani.
Up, so you're just wasting your time.
Jake, them three and then the rest are Ikhwani according to you.
If you want, I can go back to the image and look at it.
Yeah, let's go back to it.
Okay.
I want to know what your standard is to classify someone as an Ikhwani.
I mentioned it earlier, but one second. I'll bring it up here. Let's see. Just want to make sure I have it. Trying to look for the image. 1 second. Okay, so I would say Bassam, Fareed, myself, Adnan.
Adnan's not an Ikhwani?
No.
When has he publicly stated against Ash'aris and Maturidis?
1 second. I would say Shamsi. I'm just going through the list. I said, to be honest, I don't know about this Sabil Ahmed guy. And
I want to stick on Adnan. When did Adnan make a public statement against Ash'aris and Maturidis the same way I did right now? I'm willing to do.
What do you mean that the same way you're willing to do?
The same way I just did now.
On this live?
No, Jake. When has Adnan ever explicitly condemned the Ash'aris and Maturidi Aqidah?
He did in his discussion with Daniel.
What did he say?
Bro, it was literally like an 8-hour live.
Okay, but you see how before that statement
discussed with Daniel and accused Daniel of being upon kufr right on the live.
Yeah, but we know the Aqidah that Daniel's purporting. That's not even if you ask mainstream Ash'ari or Maturidis, they're not going to be purporting what he says regarding sacrificing to jinn and whatnot.
You think so?
What I'm saying,
he had Yasser Hanafi on his channel and Harun Khan.
I want to know whatever. We just bring it in terms of principle, foundationally. What classifies someone as an Ikhwani according to you?
Someone who is extremely soft on bid'ah and the deviants, doesn't actually warn against them in any significant detail, is afraid to mention people by name in that way. That's what an Ikhwan is.
So Jake, on that point about detail, if someone warns against someone, if someone says the Ash'ari Aqidah, Maturidi Aqidah is deviant, they leave it at that, because they haven't went into detail, you would consider them an Ikhwani?
No, I'm saying that when issues get brought up that require a person to go in detail, I'm not talking about teaching out of a whole Aqidah book or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that when a statement needs to be made, and not even in reference to Daniel, I'm saying in general that that person has no problem making a statement.
So if someone's silent on the issue, you consider them an Ikhwani, even though if
it's a consistent thing. If it happened one time and they said, oh, bro, like for example, there are people who did not want to sign that document against Daniel that I don't consider to be an Ikhwani. Right. For example, I'll give you one. John Fontaine. He said, Brother Jake, I don't want to sign this document because I was trying to warn against Daniel several years ago, and nobody really wanted to, back me up on any of this. So for me, it's a little bit too late. And he felt he was not happy about it. So I don't think he's an Ikhwani because he didn't sign it. It's about the reasoning behind why the person doesn't want to sign it, or why the person doesn't want to warn against the deviant creeds or deviant individuals who hold to those positions. It's about the reasoning why.
Yeah, but Jake, look. If someone has a channel, they're giving dawah to Christians, right? That's their main goal in terms of the channel. They're giving dawah to Christians, and they're calling people to the Athari Aqidah, but they don't discuss these topics. right? But they're calling people towards the ethnic aqidah, and they say it's the one true aqidah, right? And that person says, I don't want to discuss these topics right now because that'll deviate from what I'm doing in terms of giving da'wah to Christians. That's no
Yeah,
issue because
there's no
that's no
with
issue,
that.
Jake.
Yeah, of course. There's no issue.
But that's what I was doing, and
making
you said there was an issue.
The person doesn't have to be making detailed videos about these topics constantly. That's not the point. The point is that when push comes to shove, or for example, if somebody comes on your platform and asks a question about it and says, hey, Deen, what do you think about the Ash'ari and Maturidi Aqidah? I would expect that even if it wasn't planned and it came in as a super chat, you would say, my position is that I believe those are deviant creeds and are very dangerous. And I don't think that people should be holding to them. And we call to this correct aqidah, and that's it. That's what I would be expecting.
Wait, okay. Wallahi. And I'll tell you now, Jake, wallahi, you will never find a statement where I'm being soft with that question and I say, these are all, as Leafy says in the chat here, we've done that. We say the Athari Aqidah is the one true Aqidah. But the point is Jake, you can't sift through all of our content to know whether we react like this or not, for you to then make a statement. Do you understand?
Through all of your content, I'm saying about what I dealt with on you directly and what you said to me. And the fact that Libiano didn't even respond, he sent his butler.
But Libiano believes Daniel's statements are kufr. We know that.
Yeah, but that's the difference. Just like many other so-called ethnies, they say they believe this, and I've dealt with this for years, bro. And people will say all sorts of things privately, but then when it comes to publicly, they don't want to say anything. Or sometimes even publicly, they'll say things that contradict what they're saying privately. That happens all the time.
What I'm really upset about in terms of, because we've dealt with this Aqidah thing, you know, we, as I've told you right now, we're not, lenient with that question. We make it very clear and abundantly clear, and we make critiques, and we say that this, it's not just a matter of ikhtilaf. We make that very clear. But what I'm trying to tell you is that regarding what I called you despicable for, it's because you didn't add that context. Everyone can replay what you said, Jake. You didn't add that context that I told you. It's going to harm the channel in the context of people are going to come into my comment sections. People are going to come and ask me about it. People are going to deviate that attention into other topics when I'm trying to give da'wah to Christians. Now, I don't see any problem with that.
With all the other people that signed?
Say that one more time.
You think people are doing that with the other people that signed a document?
I don't know what you mean. You're lagging.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're lagging. Say that one more time.
I said, do you believe that that's happening with the other people that signed a document?
The other people that signed the document, I don't know if they pull out content like that where they would be exposed to that. I would have to look at the list, but it's either, from what I've seen from the document, it's those that have a big enough subscriber account or following where they can deal with that sort of deviation on their channel, right? But for me,
what does the subscriber account have to do with that? I don't understand.
Because if you have a bunch of following from the other side coming and going into your comment section, spreading hate or spreading Aqidah wars going on in the comments, that's going to deviate the dawah and the point of the videos that I'm uploading.
A lot of people subscribe to your channel who appreciate your content, who are followers and supporters of Daniel.
I don't think so.
So
I don't think so. But I do think that this will deviate my channel in terms of what I want to give da'wah to Christians. Obviously, people will come to my channel, ask me, "Oh, Deen, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" In terms of Aqidah in detail, wanting me to speak about it. When it's happened, right? We've seen people attacking other brothers on this topic in terms of the Aqidah debates that are going on. I just don't want that for my channel. Now, if it's going to happen now, I'll let it happen, whatever. My channel's grown quite a bit since then, alhamdulillah. And it doesn't matter to me. Like, if they're going to come, so be it. But that was the wisdom behind me telling. I first told you yes. Then I first told you yes. Then I thought about it and I said, you know what? I want the da'wah to the Christians to flourish, right? And obviously not deviate from what we're talking about and not to cause confusion or whatever in the comment section. And I'm sure that's why some other brothers didn't sign it either, even though they agree. You know, these sort of topics do cause confusion in the comment sections or in terms of, you know, the back and forth you're having with Daniel
listen,
right now.
People are requesting to bring Libiano up. Apparently,
I don't know if he's here.
Yeah, I was going to say, apparently he's in the audience. He's not here. He's not here.
I don't know.
I'm looking at the bottom. Who is here, though? Our good friend, Mr. Haqiqatjou, is here.
How's it going? Can you hear me?
How's it going, Shirk Apologist?